So the question tonight is it time for you to come out of the closet about your supernatural powers? And the reason why that is the question of the night is because that term, that phrase, came up so many times in the last reading that I did for you, your supernatural powers. This is going to be a tricky thing for some of you, right? Because in some ways, this is going to be tricky because supernatural, that word is so loaded, right? It's even been like fictionalized. I mean, I guess it's always been kind of fictionalized, but we now have such an association with that television show Supernatural, which I didn't watch, but if I recall correctly, it had to do with like demon hunter kind of guys that were killing the bad guys from fairy tales or whatever. So it's very fantastical in nature. And most of us have a hard time thinking of ourselves as being powerful at all, having personal power, let alone supernatural powers. But many of us do. And particularly if you're attracted to my content, you probably identify as someone who is possibly psychic, maybe likes magic and witchcraft, the mysticism, things like that. So, ready for this? Even though this is one of my nighttime readings, or as I like to call them, my pajama readings, I have prepared this for you tonight as a pick a card. Yeah. So I have just come back to doing my 2 camera setup. It has been over a year since I've been able to do that for you. And the most recent reading was a, what do you call it? Just a regular general messages collective reading, a reading for the collective. But tonight, yes, you get to pick. Okay, so the overall reading is probably going to be pretty short because we are asking a yes or no question. And you will hear some people say that you can't really use tarot for yes or no. I don't know that I believe that. I mean, clearly I don't believe that because we're about to. But a lot of people prefer to use pendulums for yes or no questions. I contemplated for a second bringing out my pendulum, and then I was like, but where would I put it? Like, this is very different than the Los Angeles setup. And so I'm still trying to figure it out, and there's no space. But I can give you 3 piles. So you have 3 piles to choose from: 1, 2, and 3. They are all the same deck. So just let your intuition decide for you which of these has your message. And we're going to answer the question of whether or not it is time for you to come out of the supernatural closet. I'm going to be silent for a little bit so you can make your choice, and then I'll begin your reading. And of course, timestamps will be in the description box below to take you to the exact reading of your choice. Okay, pile 1 or group 1, we are going to start with you. So you have the Justice card. That feels like a resounding yes, because the Justice card is indicative of getting just desserts in a positive way. You know, if we're talking about something legal that's being settled, it typically indicates it being settled in your favor. It indicates balance, of course, as you can see here with her scales. Yeah. Or not her scales. She doesn't like have scales on her skin, but she's holding the scales. And then the other thing that we have here with the Justice card, let me put it here so you can see it a little bit better, is there's a sword, and the sword is in the upright position. And that upright position is an affirmative. All right. So when a sword is in the upright position in the tarot, it can indicate that you are in the process of making a decision. A decision has not yet been made. But because we did come to this reading today on a yes/no question, the upward position, just like a card coming out upright is usually indicative of the affirmative in some way versus the shadow energies or the negative in some way, the opposite in some way. I feel like the message coming through for you is yes. Yes, it is time. Yes, it is time. And not just for you, but for the sake of others like you and others around you who would definitely benefit from knowing you have these powers or this power. You might be someone who just has one, you know? I'm also getting that you can't fully come into your own, fully come into yourself as a person in your life without accepting this about yourself. And when we are afraid to tell people, and sometimes there's a self-preservation aspect to that for sure, but when we're afraid to tell people, when we try to keep it hidden, when we outright deny it, or might even shame other people who purport to have those same abilities, that is 100% resistance energy. And it does not help you or the people around you. Okay? So that's what I have for you. Yes, it is time. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. All right, let's move on to find out for those who selected pile 2. Is it time for you to come out of the supernatural closet? Or is it time for you to come out of the closet about your supernatural powers? You got, oh wow, the 6 of Swords. But look how murky these waters are. However, the waters in the opposite direction. See, okay, so we have the murky waters here. This card is kind of weird because this is the front of the card, right? It's the front of the scene. And yet in the 6 of Swords, this is where she's leaving from to go there, right? So anyway, this murkiness feels like a no. But the crystal clarity here of the bright blue water is the yes. Also, that's the better scenario. And what I'm getting for you, you're going to hate me for this. Don't click off. But what I'm getting for you is the answer is still unclear. It is very, very possible that for you, it is not the right time, but you feel very, very compelled to do so. So you will feel a sense of freedom in sharing this about yourself. And is a long awaited sense of freedom and a very well deserved sense of freedom. Yet at the same time, there are going to be some consequences that are going to kind of like pull you down, weigh you down, make you doubt this choice that you made. Now, the reality is with us having 6 of Swords here, it does feel like eventually that will clear up for you, but it does not feel like this is going to be a smooth sailing kind of situation. It might be a back and forth kind of energy. There may be times when you start to feel, if you choose to go forward and share this about yourself, I should never have done it. Why did I do this? And it might be a very, very long time before you start seeing the benefit to making the choice of sharing about yourself that you have certain supernatural powers, okay? So let yourself take some time with this decision because it is going to have real world consequences. Some of which are positive, like that feeling of freedom that you're going to get, but some of which are negative, which is the long time effect of it having somewhat of a negative impact on your life. I am wondering if there's something here around it re-traumatizing you from something that you had already healed or something that you thought you had already healed. But this is like one more piece of it. Okay? So be careful with this choice, all right? That's what I'm getting for you. It's not quite a yes and it's not quite a no. And what that means is you can take your time. You don't have to decide today. Take your time. Come back at another time, ask the question again, see what you get. Or at another time, do pendulum for yourself or get a personal tarot reading from me or, talk to a friend or something or just go within and assess it again. But it doesn't feel like this is the right moment for it to be a smooth sailing kind of situation for you. Okay? All right. And then finally, those of you who chose 3, you have the Magician. And that's a big old yeah. Hold on. Do we not have focus? There we go. That is a big old yeah. That's not just a yeah. That's a hell yeah. And what I'm getting for you is nobody is going to be surprised. This is one of those situations where you think you're in the closet about it, but people know. You've been dropping breadcrumbs for a long time, or you might just be overt and you don't even realize how blatant, how clear it is that you are very, very magical and that you believe it. So some people are magical, but they don't realize they're magical, right? You you have been living in this energy. Like you might be one of those people that manifest so quickly. You might be one of those people that cast spells and see immediate results. Are you one of those people? If so, could you cast a good one on me? Just joking. Don't cast nothing on me. Because your magic works, okay? Like it is so, so clear from you getting this magician card. Honey, no one is going to be surprised. So you coming out of the so-called closet about it is more for you than it is for anybody else. It's something that you need to do for yourself. To, again, and I think this came up in one of the other piles. I can't remember off the top of my head. Probably one, if it did. A sense of wholeness, a sense of completeness. It's almost like graduation energy. Definitely self-validating, self-validating energy. Though you have not been resisting this about yourself. You just haven't, again, been verbally open about it. But maybe there is a book or two about, witchcraft or tarot or manifestation or levitation or like the things, because supernatural here can mean so many different things, but I feel like for you, you've got the big powers. You've got the ones that a lot of people don't believe are real. You do. And it's going to be okay when you share it because they already know. No one is going to be surprised. Okay, this is what I have for you today, you guys. Thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you in my next one.